Easy just made.
We come out at night, beyond to the marrow, keeping out of sight, where we all glow, it's a new flow. Sunset spilling out, light leaks on the pavement, shadows blacking out, punk rock and pagan, dancing like a dream, stepping on the stage, heart like gasoline. Black holes in your eyes, hiding for nothing. Symbols in the skies, something is coming. Kick drum rock you up, dead man on the dance floor. Pulsing through your blood, get ready for the new glow. Dancing like a dream.
Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? Big day, big day. So, there was a crazy hack yesterday. We're going to cover that. We're going to cover the hot projects, Beepos. I know a lot of guys in our group have Beepos. McKay had made a call on them. We've got to cover the V1 punks, and we've got to cover the raid party going on today. Couple other projects, Solana projects. We'll cover all the news, the reviews, and the mints. Let me bring in the other guys here. Yo, yo, can you guys hear me?
Hey,
Yo.
What's going on, guys?
Not too much, man. Pretty crazy, eventful last 24 hours. I feel like a lot happened.
I do too. I was actually thinking how I feel like the last 24 hours has felt like a week. I think everyone's kind of anxious too.
Just with like the market conditions right now.
Yeah.
The market, yeah, because it feels like it could either like nuke or run again.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. And like I said yesterday, I really do think that we want Ethereum to go down. Like, we really need it to go down. And it's gone down a bit, and some projects have kind of... mutants have gone up, but I almost feel like that might be the only one that I've seen actually going up. Bored Apes are down overall.
Yep.
I mean, obviously there's some smaller projects, but out of like the big ones we've been keeping our eyes on. Yeah, let's talk about this crazy wormhole issue.
Yeah, man.
It's insane. $300 million drained out of a wormhole bridge on Ethereum.
Yeah, really insane. I was just reading a thread, just kind of like with the technicals of how it happened, and it's insane, man. It's way above my head, but essentially, Wormhole is like a bridge. Okay, Wormhole is a bridge, basically a way to move crypto assets between different blockchains. So specifically, it's Ethereum and Solana. I don't know when they launched. I saw tweets from them back in like September, October, boasting their security and whatnot. But essentially, someone found an exploit and was able to mint he was able to mint 120 Wormhole Ethereum. Uh, yeah, I have no idea how he did it. And then that Ethereum basically got again, the technicals of it, Vince. Maybe you can help me out here, but there was about 120,000 Ethereum stolen in total, or like 98,000 Ethereum, which is in the sum of upwards of 300 million, 400 million dollars. Just the disgustingly large hack that occurred and exploit. And then Wormhole put like a bounty on their website. They're offering the hacker or the exploiter $10 million clean to show them the exploit, show them how they did it, and return the money. And there was a lot of people that were kind of debating back and forth. What would you do? Would you have 10 million clean or 250 million dirty? Really crazy situation though, man.
Yeah, it's technically way over my head. Somehow basically tricking the system into thinking that they had deposited 120,000 Ethereum. And from what I basically understand, whoever did this, and it could be a group of people, whatever, they basically learned this contract, everything about it, like from the ground up, and knew exactly how to manipulate this thing. And obviously, like, even if they spent a year learning this and figuring it out, like, you're telling, like, $300 million of a year of work, and I doubt it took that long. Like, I bet it took them a few weeks, if that, to figure this out.
I don't even think Wormhole's been around for a whole
yeah,
year.
Exactly. So, like, these people that are learning blockchain contracts, all this stuff, I mean, if they want to scam, it's the Wild West right now. Like, you're not finding these people. You're just not. And it's crazy the amount of money. So, yeah, I mean, just another situation where it's like you have to be so careful.
Yeah, people are concerned that if the exploiter tries to like market sell that Ethereum, it could really like screw the price of Ethereum in the short term.
I don't know about that. It's not a lot of. I mean, there's big boys moving that kind of money a lot, but
100,000 Ethereum though. I mean, that's a disgusting amount of ETH.
Yeah,
and
it's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know what the process would be to, you know, if you are the exploiter or a thief or whatnot. I don't know.
They used that tornado thing. They used that. Yeah, and it makes it even more difficult to track down.
Something this big though, like, you know, these are gonna be the first. These $100 million, $400 million scams are gonna be the first ones you hear about getting, you know, actually handled by like FBI and stuff like that whenever that time comes.
Yeah.
But
okay,
insane,
let's jump into some projects.
Oh, no, let's talk. Kind of staying on the same.
Wormhole still?
No. Let's talk Larva Labs. That's big news. I think that that's a really interesting topic. So the V1 punks, especially, you know, we've been tracking those in these daily shows for the last several days, for the last week roughly. First started talking about them at 7 ETH. They went up to 25 ETH. Now they're sitting at about 15, 16 Ethereum. Larva Labs. So what happened was Larva Labs had a big bag of these and they dumped them on people. So they actually were selling these V1 punks to people for whatever, 5, 10, 15 ETH along the way, and they generated over 200 Ethereum. It was about 210 Ethereum. And then after dumping their bags on people, then they said, hey, actually, some of our holders are saying that they don't like that these are out there because they feel it diminishes the value of our actual punks. So we're going to DMCA the V1 punks. They don't have the right to be using our name or art. And so essentially, they're going to be DMCAing and potentially turning valueless the asset that they just dumped on a bunch of people and who bought directly from Larva Labs. And it is Larva Labs creation. They are actual, you know, punks from that were originally deployed. And it's crazy. It's really distasteful, especially after dumping them on people like that, man. The community's really upset. I've seen a lot of threads from big punk holders and OGs that are really upset, saying that, like, every move Larva Labs makes, they're just tripping over themselves and hurting their public image. And if they want to just, if they're going to embrace the whole just, you know, sipping Mai Tais on an island because we were the first project, then they should have just embraced that and stop, you know, fumbling situations like this, because it's really bad PR.
Cool.
So yeah, that's the long and short of what happened. Pretty ugly, and people are obviously upset about it. If I was holding a V1 Punk right now, I'd be looking to sell, because when the hammer of whatever OpenSea and anything else comes down, the price could certainly nuke.
Yeah,
But yeah,
cool.
that's about all I got there. Pretty crazy. Let's definitely talk projects. I know Raid Party's minting today.
Yeah, raid
Yeah.
party. Go ahead, McKay.
Yeah, Raid Party's gonna mint this afternoon. It sounds like it's gonna be at 4 p.m. Eastern. They just tweeted a really cool PR video for it on their Twitter just like 5-10 minutes ago. I think the project itself, there's no doubt that it'll sell out, of course. It'll do well. These will be worth going for. They claim that gas wars have been negated, and it's obviously a public sale, so everyone should have access to it. And then they're claiming that there's no failed transactions. So that's what they're saying. No gas wars, no failed transactions, no headache. I don't know if they're using a contract type that Azuki used called ERC721A. The technicalities behind that basically limit gas fees by grouping transactions together and then putting them at the cost of the transaction coordinator, is how I understand it. If that's the case, well, regardless if that's the case or not, obviously the project will sell out. It's something we're going to be going for. I'm just not totally sure how they're saying no failed transactions or what that includes. The project itself will sell out and be profitable, of course.
Yeah, the thing that we've seen though is like the volume is so low on the project still, and I'm not sure like why that is, because most projects we see with these kind of floor prices, there's a lot more action in the first couple days. Maybe it's just because people are waiting for this mint to occur and stuff. But yeah, my confidence in it is not crazy high, so definitely one that I'm gonna be watching at 4 p.m. today. I mean, I think anybody in the NFT space should be.
One thought that I had was that how crazy it is, you know, based on their auction format that they released their fighters at. If they had waited like 1 week to launch the project, they could have potentially made like 50% of what they actually ended up yielding. They launched in peak, you know, bull market, blow off top, crazy conditions, and yeah, good for them.
Yeah, they made a killing, and they're gonna make a, you know, more today and in the future. So they have really high hopes, and like what they're saying of their game is really cool. Will they deliver? You know, we'll see. Okay, let's go to one that caused some controversy, which was the Beepos. So this was one that I don't know if I had seen before or not, but it came through our popular mints channel, and I clicked it. And whenever I see a project that looks decent, I always check to see if you can submit a transaction, and you could on this project, which I found out a few minutes later, like you weren't supposed to be able to mint these unless you had pre-sale access. So like, you know, I got lucky in that I was able to mint them, but then everyone who had like worked to get whitelist, some of them had issues, which I don't really know how they had issues because it was so easy to mint these. But yeah, somehow they had issues. They weren't able to mint them, and so that caused some FUD. I looked at the website pretty quickly, and I thought that they looked really cool. I mean, that's why I thought it was cool to mint them. I think these look really cool. AD and McKay had both said that they had been in the server. And so, yeah, I mean, they totally messed up the contract. They didn't have enough money to pay for the contract to be where you could have a whitelist only, so they went ahead and just launched it. They admitted to doing that, which, like, is kind of crazy in this space that a team would actually admit to, like, what they did like that. But, yeah, I think it's cool enough to where I like these more than like the Fishy Fams or even like something that was like the Fang Gangs from so long ago. So I think they could still go up higher, and McKay had put it in DJing calls, so that had happened yesterday.
Yeah, so after that mint, they basically put a huge apology letter in there, and that's when they had admitted to like not having enough. They said it cost 25 grand to deploy the contract, and something had gotten messed up technically. But I think like towards the end of it, after their entire chat was on fire, they basically were given no choice but to admit that, they messed something up. And they were basically given the choice to delay the mint, they said, which we've seen projects do. I mean,
Right.
Whatever the Cool Cats derivative or whatever that project is, Cool Pets, those kept pushing back. Those are still pushed back. I think that's like the safest thing to do. Instead, they said, no, we're just going to try it out. And then they said, regretfully so, because obviously that lit the entire thing on fire. And I can't imagine, like, as we keep seeing these ETH projects creating more and more boundaries and more roadblocks to get like the end goal, which is that whitelist spot. I can't imagine grinding for months on whitelist, because I've been in that server for months, getting whitelist and then not being able to mint. I mean, that'd be so frustrating. So I think there's a lot of potential. I think we saw Fishy Fam basically screw up their entire mint with something very similar, and somehow those were sitting at 0.5 yesterday. They're down to 0.39 right now. But it's that same type of deal where people, I think, just kind of forget about it and move on, and then the project will start moving forward. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I bought 2 yesterday.
Yeah, I ended up buying a bundle of 3. I typically try to play these projects and sell before reveal, but the floor climbed up to around like 0.2. We bought in around 0.15. It's back down, I think, to around 0.15 right now. So, I am going to be holding. And hopefully, maybe I'll hit a rare, or maybe the price will go back up. But yeah, it should be cool. Obviously, like with the mint, the optics of the mint weren't great, but I think enough NFTs have changed hands at this point that there's enough new people in the project that no one really seems to care that much anymore. But yeah, we'll see. These 0.15-ish projects can go either way. We've seen them, go basically to 0, or we've seen them go pretty crazy. So
Rags or riches every time in that price range.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, we did the Beepos. Do you want to talk about Messenger Party?
Yeah, it's Message Party.
Message Party, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Solana mint that's pretty hyped. It's releasing.
It's a cool idea.
Thing. So there's different stages of the mint, from my understanding. They have like 4 or 5 different stages of like pre-sale, and then the public is at 8:15 p.m. with about 700 left for public. 3 Sol mint price. So what it is, it's a chatting app built on Sol and used on a mobile device. So it's kind of like just like a startup. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's they're basically, I read a lot because they have job applications on their website, and I looked into it, and they're trying to fund a startup company through this Sol project, which I guess is how they're justifying the 3 Sol mint price. A lot of the Sol guys we follow on Twitter, this is like their project of the day, because just because this project kind of came out of nowhere. We hadn't seen a lot of guys talking about it, but they think this has the most potential. But with a 3 Sol mint price, I don't think we see these doubling. I think we could see these at like 4 or 5 Sol after mint, but there's a high supply count, which kind of negates the ability for it to, 4 or 5x.
Yep. Still should be a good one though. I think definitely one of the best projects
Totally.
today for Sol.
Agreed. Yep. Yeah, we have because so really our priority for today's Sol mints was this BR1 game. And
Yeah, someone just asked about it.
Yeah, so that game we had posted in whitelists. I think PB or one of our collaborators had posted it a couple weeks ago, and it was something we were really excited about. It's a totally legit project. It's a third-person shooter game, downloadable on your computer. So it'd just be like any big game we're used to playing, and it's like functional. So they've been posting download links in their chat, and you just download it and play it. The goal is then to earn their token through playing it. You basically play as your character, then you're getting some sort of reward. I think it's via Sol or their token as you kill players. And so there's this whole like tokenomics aspect to it, which I feel like every single time a new game pops up, whether that was Oogaverse or whether that was Wolf Game, like there's this whole learning curve that we end up sitting down for a day and figuring out. But with this game, the issue is the supply. I think it's 10K supply again. Small portion goes to whitelist. And my opinion on these games at this point is if someone's not willing to play, if someone's willing to play them without having a reward, you know, like some sort of tokenomics or Solana reward given to them, then the game will do fine. But
You cut out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we have a lot of guys who are just going to try to quick flip it, and that's kind of the general consensus from Twitter as well this morning, is that everyone's just going to try to quick flip it. They're not going to have enough people in these games to fill lobbies, and as a result, it'll just kind of go down. So I think that's where I'm at with that game.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And they asked about, yeah, Riggs, it's crazy that I get these notifications because I have it on streamer mode, disabled sounds. I don't understand. It's messed up. Anyways, I fixed it by doing something else. But Launch Labs, have you guys heard of that?
No, I don't think so.
Let me see if I've seen this. Someone asked about Launch Labs. So that is today, 22:30 UTC. I've never seen this icon. I know that for sure.
Yeah, both of these projects today, 10K supply, and I think that's something we're starting to see more and more. These guys know they can get away with
Right.
higher supply. Sorry, that's not true. Message Party is 6,000, but point being is that these Sol projects keep expanding their supply. And just 2 weeks ago, we were talking on the show that during that it wasn't a bear market, but just during that kind of pullback on the market when volume had slowed down a week or two ago, the projects we saw suffer first on Solana specifically were these projects that had anything over like 444 supply, because those are the ones where people were trying to sell off and the exit liquidity wasn't there.
So Launch Labs is like, it's like the project we had where, what was it, Founders DAO or something, where they can basically help you to make your NFT project.
Oh yeah.
To launch.
Yesterday's.
Yeah, yesterday's. Wasn't it like Fellowship or something?
Fellowship DAO, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously that's kind of popular right now. I don't know. There's so many projects, like missing some of these is, and I don't know if, yeah, I don't know about this. It's just so hard to pick and choose projects.
I just got, it's 5,000 people in their server. The concept's great, but I think it's going to be, it's just a matter of time until one of these takes off. And the second one of these Sol launch pads take off, because all these are like Y Combinator type things. They're just getting projects off the ground. Once one of them takes off, all of them are going to be left in the dust. So you're just betting on either Fellowship DAO, Launch Labs, or any of the others just like popping up and doing really well. And the second one of them goes crazy, everyone's going to forget about the smaller ones.
The one I like more, it's not the same, it's not the same idea, not the same meta, whatever. It's that submarine market that's basically copying the looks rare, but for Solana projects. I like that more than going for another one of these incubator, whatever, creates your NFT project thing. So the submarine market I posted today, it's in a couple of days, so we'll cover that more on that day, but I like it more than this. But I mean, there could be profit in this and stuff. I just wouldn't be holding. If you think it's worth going for, it's one Sol mint on average. Not really sure what that means, but I can't fault you for going for something like this right now. Cool.
Yeah, we're seeing.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we just keep seeing a larger mint list of Solana projects every day.
Yeah.
At this point, 90% of them are junk.
It's crazy. I'm just so tired of of Solana projects that just don't innovate or add anything interesting to the space. I mean, how many profile picture projects do we really need?
Exactly.
And the market is telling them, we don't need any more. So unless you're trying to do something cool, like I'm not really interested in any of these Sol projects.
To your point.
Yeah.
Right. I had posted last week how I felt that I get to a point where I look at the Solana projects every morning and I'm like, what am I doing? And it's like there's been too much up only for Solana mints where like decent ones are selling out and you're getting 2x returns. That's going to come to an end, and I just feel like we're getting very close to that point. Could be wrong, because again, it's all about are there enough people coming into the market that are going to buy on secondary? Because the people that are buying on secondary, they're losing their butts by buying and holding for a few days or a week or whatever on most of these projects. So they stop doing that. And you have to have people that come in to become that new liquidity for buying. And I don't, it's all about whether we get enough new people coming in. So I don't know. I've felt this way for a week or so. I think these guys are exactly where I'm at on it. And just be careful on the Solana mints. We try to pick the ones with the lowest risk to mitigate the risks. But yeah, there's some that just are not going to do very well, especially right now. You guys want to talk about collections, 24 hours, top volume?
Yeah. We'll just talk a little bit of like floor talk, I think, just about what we've seen, movements over the last 24 hours.
Yeah. So have you guys even seen the Hype Bears Club?
Yeah, I've been watching those. They got up to 1.5, 1.6 yesterday. Now they're back down to like 1.3. They've been top volume like all day.
I saw some serious FUD about their team on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw that.
No.
I think that the FUD is that their team is totally anonymous and people don't like. Pardon. People don't like these anonymous teams with high mint prices because it's super high risk for the community,
Yeah. Some of the FUD around it was like, I guess there were issues where these guys had given away more spots than they allocated for themselves as far as stock and supply goes. So there were like dozens of people on Twitter who had won through giveaways or whitelist opportunities, and other projects who were just basically left in the dust and weren't able to mint the project. And so people were saying that as a result, like you said, of an anonymous team, they're able to get away with things like this with very little risk.
However they minted, they did a good job with the distribution. I'll say that. You've got a 10,000 item to 7.4K owners. That's pretty incredible. I don't know how that happened, but that's always a good sign when you don't have one person. Like on average, there's 1.2, 1.3 for each person or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's good to see. Floor price pretty high though. I would rather have one of these though than a Hate Prime, which is funny to say because Hate Prime's like 8 Ethereum. But so that's one. Let's talk about Zipsies. This was one of those ones that was like, what, it go to 6 ETH and then tank after this reveal started?
Right.
Yeah,
man. They got up to like 6.3 for a floor price.
I mean, some of them are so bad.
Yeah, I don't really like these. It's like a female avatar. Yeah, I don't know, man. They're down to what, 3.6, which shows that people aren't loving the art on these. Normally a little bit of a dump after reveal is normal, but the fact that they're still dumping and they're not rebounding, that kind of says a lot.
I can't see these going up ever. But I've been wrong before.
Yep, for sure. Mutants rebounded. That's probably one of the only projects in top volume that's actually like gone up. It's up about 3 ETH since its low yesterday. It hit 19.5 yesterday. Now it's at about 22.7.
Yeah, I saw this yesterday. There was all of a sudden, I posted these guys so every hour for like 24 hours, there was at most 3 sales. And then all of a sudden there was 7 or 8 in one of the hours in the afternoon yesterday. And since then, it's kind of been a pretty like steady stream of sales. And then I also think people delisting, because we've gone up pretty quickly here. It also is one of those situations where since we just had a run up, there's not a lot of listings between the price we're at now and then the 25. Obviously 25 people are just like listing there. There's a lot there. But between where we're at now and 25, it's like 24 listings, which you were doing over 100 sales a day on these mutants last week, like almost every day, over 100. So if it does continue to pick up, you could see this one go up pretty quickly. But I mean, the market we need Ethereum to go down, in my opinion, more, unless there's like people that know something that a lot of us don't know about mutants, which it kind of felt like honestly before, but
Yeah.
you know, just speculation on that. So because like Bored Apes are down, they're 99, they were 118,
Yep.
so they lost 20%. Let's just say 20%.
Azuki is it's
Way
at
down.
10.3.
Way down from 16.
X, yeah, that's from its high of 16.
16.
And some change. Clone X down from its high of 18.5 down to 15.7. Doodles I know are down to 12.5, which is down from their high, which was I think just north of 15. So we've seen like as far as percentages of this pullback, it's very similar on all these top projects.
Yeah, I mean, and that we talk about this a lot in our voice call throughout the day. Like Garrett, I think had said like about buying a Clone X, and I was like, would you rather buy a Clone X or a Doodle? Because like they're similar in price, right? And so like,
Yeah.
I would rather buy a Doodle, and I think most people would agree, because if you compare them, what do you feel more comfortable or safe in? And I would say the Doodle project. And so I would say like when you're buying projects, think about your opportunity cost and like what other in similar ranges out there. That's not to say though that like the Nike, like literally Nike could do something with these Doodles and you could just see them skyrocket.
With the clones, you mean?
Yeah, Clone X. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably why, you know, if Garrett were to buy one, I mean, he could hit a huge 2-3x if literally with a tweet from Nike. So, you know, you kind of just have to think in your mind though, where do you feel the least amount of risk? So, yeah, I think the projects are gonna hopefully continue to run, because I think Ethereum's gonna keep going down. Are there any others in the top 20 volume 24 hours we should touch on?
Yeah, let's see. So we hit a lot of the big ones. We talked V1 punks already.
Oh, Sandbox. Let's talk about how that Facebook
Sandbox.
thing was. So there was rumors
yeah.
going around about Facebook acquiring Sandbox. It did make sense. It's probably why the rumor caught legs, and it did go up. It's gone up and actually sat now about a half ETH higher than I feel like it's been. I mean. It would be so funny if some big company came in and bought Sandbox at this point. But yeah, that was just total not it just totally was fake. So volume has remained pretty high here though. Beepos is 14. 24 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 14 in volume.
Uh-huh.
We saw some action
Came
yesterday
down
on.
off their pump.
Wait,
Oh,
go
yeah,
ahead,
okay,
McKay.
sorry.
I was just gonna say we saw some action on Neo Tokyo Outer Identities too. I think Floor is sitting at 8.7 now.
Okay, I didn't even. Yeah, I remember we brought that up. They were at 6 or 7 a few days ago.
Yeah.
Do you know if
Yeah,
that
so-
guy tweeted anything?
No, Alex Becker's honestly, I take everything he tweets with like 5 grains of salt. He's always trolling. I follow him on Twitter, but I think we've gotten to the point with this project where unless he's tweeting something huge, 90% of what he tweets people just take with a grain of salt, because they know he's just joking.
Well, that's good, because like 2 weeks ago when the crypto market started going backwards, he had said like, I hope you guys are buying your game like Jewel and Magic and whatever, like all these game tokens, because they're gonna run up. And it was like the worst time that you could have like said that, and the worst time to buy. That actually is a good time to show you guys this chart. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite charts to look at. And it's because this shows what the big boys are doing. This is Bitcoin addresses with a balance of greater than 1,000 Bitcoins. And that is the yellow line on this chart. And you'll see that back early this year, it hit almost 2,500 wallets with that balance. And what happened back in April of this year? Well, you saw Bitcoin price go from high to mid 60s, and you saw that as these guys were unloading, look at how they unloaded their wallets here while keeping the price above that 60. Well, once they got out, the price came down and we went down to that 30K point. And look, they have not been buying since. And what did they just do the past few days? They've been offloading even more. We're at the lowest point of wallets from before this chart even starts, over a year ago. So I'm not bullish on Bitcoin or Ethereum. That's my sentiment when I think about what the guys that I trust the most are saying. They did well for me back here. I'm just going to play the odds and say that we're going to go lower. And that's just like me being, risk adverse and trying to do what makes sense. So, I mean, what do you guys think about? And I want this to happen, and anybody in NFTs should want Ethereum to slowly go down, because I think we just saw what happens now and what the market does when that occurs.
Yeah, that chart, I saw that this morning. That one looks super bullish for NFTs if it actually plays out that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested to look at the wallets for Ethereum. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, like you said, with a declining price of Ethereum, NFT volume picks up, project floors move, drastically. So
Yeah.
Currently just holding on to my stack, trying to secure some liquid ETH for the time that I think might be the bottom, and then going in.
Yeah, I would. One reason I would say I don't care that much about what this chart looks like for Ethereum is purely based on the history. Whenever Bitcoin plummets, Ethereum and altcoins plummet even more. And so I don't think if Bitcoin plummets below 30,000, that Ethereum hangs in there. But that's not to say that this couldn't be the first time and we see Ethereum's market cap flip Bitcoin. Like, that could be very interesting for sure. It would suck, but nothing is impossible. And if that's a way that the big boys think they can make a bunch of money, then they'll try to execute that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think for most of us, it's really easy to see our ETH balance go down as the value of ETH goes down, but it's kind of a give or take. Like, you have to understand that as ETH goes down, we see the return in NFTs go up, and then our goal in the macro sense is still for ETH to hit 5 or 10K, right? Like, that's still the long-term goal. When Vince talks about ETH going down, he's saying short-term for NFTs to pump, right?
Yeah. Cool. Is there anything else you guys want to go over? We covered projects, briefly covered one's minting today. The Neo Tokyos, have you guys seen, just to come back to this, owners to items? It's basically 1-to-1.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. 4,500 items, 4.2K owners. So distributions, yeah, that's very impressive.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, those are up. Yeah, those were at like 6.9 the other day. So that's also one of the only projects that's pumped.
Right.
Over the
Yeah,
last couple
exactly.
days, and I feel like that's because I think they have some big game stuff happening next week.
Their holders too are just like the most dedicated. Like, we've spoken with one of their holders, and he is just like such a believer in Alex Becker and what he's trying to do. I think there's fewer people selling than you'd realize for a normal project.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to cover today. Nothing's happening in real time. Oh, you know what? Killer GF is an interesting one. It tanked. People were trying to this was one people were saying that, Azuki's went up a bunch. This art style is going to it's going to do well because it's going to follow in Azuki's footsteps, and it just has done the opposite. Bunch of people got burned on this for sure. And I don't see a play on these either, so down a bunch. Cool.
Yes, sir. Cool. Yeah, I think we hit it pretty good. About 40 minutes, so yeah.
Awesome. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.
Until tomorrow. Take it
Later,
easy.
guys.
Peace.